Today it is May the 23rd, 2016, and I want to go over something I have gone over before, but every now and then I find a new scripture that I need to bring into my videos to solidify the truth. And today I'm going to do just that. And this is concerning the name of Yehovah. Yehovah, our Father in heaven. Not to be confused with Yeshua. And most certainly not to be confused with the false deity Jesus. And as I've gone over before, don't act like you've heard something new if you have watched my videos when I talk about the false deity of Jesus. Jesus, the word Jesus in Greek is two words, and it means I'm a pig. It is a knockoff of the swine sacrifice that Antiochus IV offered to Zeus in replacement of the Lamb of Yehovah. It comes from a old Greek deity, Yehovah. And folks, it's time to do your studying and to learn and to know the difference between paganism and the worship of Yehovah in spirit and in truth. Now, I want to go to Isaiah 45 and starting in verse 4, and I will start reading in verse 4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, my elect, I have called you by your name. I have surnamed you, Israel, though you have not known me. So, Israel does not know Yehovah, yet Israel is his elect. That is a fact. That fact cannot be altered. It cannot be altered by replacement theology, supersessionism, or any of these lies. I want to get that right out there and make it clear that anyone who teaches supersessionism, replacement theology, is teaching a false doctrine, and those false doctrines which even Paul said, if anyone preaches a different gospel, a gospel of supersessionism, shall be accursed. It's in verse 5 it says, I am Yehovah. It doesn't say I am the Lord. I want to make this very, very clear. Please, people, stop being afraid to say Yehovah's name. If you replace it, if you constantly replace it with a substitute name, you are diminishing his name. And if you diminish his name, you are taking his name in vain at best and possibly blaspheming at worst. Now, I know that I have stumbled over this many times myself. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to bring people to righteousness. Although my righteousness is as filthy rags before Yehovah. So he says, I'm Yehovah. It is in 3068 in the Hebrew. So, and I want to explain right now, as I said before, Yehovah is not Jesus. Yehovah is not Yeshua. Yehovah is not Yehovah. He is the Father. He is our Father in heaven, whom Yeshua said that we are supposed to pray to. That's who he is. Now, so he is speaking in first person to Isaiah. There is not an angel speaking here. It is Yehovah himself, the Father in heaven, speaking to him and talking to him. Not Jesus. It's Yehovah, the Father. And there is none else, he says. And yet, Christianity disagrees with this. They say, we know better. There is somebody else. No, there is no God but Yehovah. There is no God but Yehovah. This is the reason why Yeshua is called the Son of Man. There is no one equal to Yehovah. There is nobody equal to Yehovah, period. And there will never be. Yeshua himself said he cannot do anything except the Father tells him to do. Yet, people say Jesus is God. There is no Elohim besides me. Elohim, 430 in the Hebrew. Look it up. I girded you, though you have not known me. Speaking to Israel again. And so what people have done is they have taken the first chapter of John and they polluted it to claim that the Word as a person existed before the creation of man. I submit to you that the word of Yehovah is his promise. The promise that he made to Eve when he told Eve that her seed, yes, her seed, would smash the head of Satan's seed. Now, a word, Jehovah's word is Jehovah's promise. If I were to make a promise right now, and then I fulfilled it right in front of your eyes at the very same time, it would not be a promise. No, a promise is something you speak. And in the Greek, it's called logos. Word. It comes out of your mouth. You speak. You say something. And years later, you fulfill that promise. That's what Yeshua is. He is that promise. He is the fulfillment of the word that came out of the mouth of Yehovah. And it was fulfilled the day he was born and also the day that he was killed by the Romans. Yes, I said killed by the Romans. I know that the Christians say killed by the Jews. He was killed by the Romans. He was sent to the Romans by the Jews. There is a difference. Now, let us go to Psalm 68 and verse 4. And the interesting thing about this particular passage that David wrote is that apparently King James inadvertently, or I don't know if they inadvertently did it or not, I just found this to be very interesting. They got it right just one time. They got his name right just one time in King James. Isn't it interesting? It is Psalm 68 and verse 4. Now, this chapter is speaking of how, okay, anyway, we'll go to that. Verse 4. Okay. Sing unto Elohim. Sing praises to his name. Now we are narrowing it way down here. His name. Sing praises to his name. Extol him that rides upon the heavens. So he that rides upon the heavens is the Father. His name is Yah. Not Jah, Yah. And rejoice before him. So let us look up this name in Strong's Concordance. And it is 3050 YAHH or YAW. Yah, the name of the God of Israel. Now, blessed is he who comes in the name of Yah. So who comes in the name of Yah? No, don't forget now, he is not Yah. He comes in the name of Yah. That would be Israel's Messiah. Yahshua or Yeshua or Joshua. Not Jesus. There is a difference, folks. And Christianity has been brainwashed. And even the most strident Messianic Jew types get this wrong. I'm just trying to be helpful, folks. Turn many to righteousness. And if it means controversy, if it causes controversy, it's not me, it's not I who started the controversy. Go back to Constantine. He's the one who did it. Please study. Please serve Yehovah in spirit and in truth, because this is what he's looking for. Watch. John 4:24. Actually, yes. This actually starts in verse 23, I think. And when any time in the New Testament you see the word God, it means Yehovah. I just want to make sure everybody understands this. Start in verse 23. Verse 22. He's speaking to the Samaritan woman. And Yeshua is. And he says, you worship you know not what. We, the Jews, know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Now, listen very carefully. If you do not believe that salvation is of the Jews, then you worship a false, or you follow a false Messiah. Let me make that clear. This comes from the mouth of Yeshua. We know what we worship because salvation is of the Jews. If you say salvation is not of the Jews, you worship something false. I want to get that out right now. Verse 23, but the hour comes and now is. The hour comes and begins now, he says, when the true worshipers shall worship the Father, whose name is Yah, in spirit and in truth, with no falsehood. For the Father seeks such, that kind. He seeks that kind to worship him. Yehovah is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Now, I told you the truth today. So, when you worship Yehovah, worship him in spirit and in truth.